Ladies and gentlemen, KocoSports.com proudly presents Wrestle AM. It's half wrestling show, half morning show, pretty much all BS. And of course, you got the Koco crew here holding it down live. Yours truly, sexiest man on all of wrestling radio. That's right, Boom Boom here, second round live from the RVA, Richmond, Virginia. And of course, join me there, way there across the pond over in England. The man who looked at me cross-eyed when I said, "Hey, can I borrow a shirt and a pair of pants?" Talking about LK. What's up, buddy?
I didn't understand that reference. Just going to put it out there. I didn't understand that at all. Can I borrow a shirt and what?
A pair of pants.
I'm wearing both, so I don't know why you want them. I just don't get that reference. Maybe that was an American dig.
From what I understand, if I was to ask for pants over in England, I would get some odd stares because I believe that is the term that is used for undergarments, whereas the proper term would be trousers.
Yeah, I'm wearing trousers right now. Trousers. But you guys call it pants because you just like fucking up our language. But that's a different story for a different show.
Yes, and I also heard fanny means two totally different things.
Oh, yes, it does. PG, we're PG. Oh, no, we're not. Fuck it.
Over here, if I'm going to hit you in the fanny, means I'm going to pop you in the rear end, pop you in the buttocks. Heard this totally.
Oh, well, that's definitely... that's definitely not what it's called over in England, that's for damn sure.
So how do you react if someone says, "Hey, if you see my fanny pack"?
In America, I'm guessing you'd be like, "It's the fanny pack." Over here, I know what a fanny pack is because I've watched wrestling in American terms. I kind of understand some American terms and American TV. Whereas in England, if you said, "Can I have a fanny pack?" to someone else, they might be like, "Oh, okay, you're a man asking to see that. Okay, what are you after? What do you want? How much money do you want from my wallet?" Anyway, NXT review, Booms. Professional we are.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of take my money, man, yeah, definitely take my money because I'm sold on NXT Takeover, man. I think we're 3 weeks away from this pay-per-view, but it seems like I'm calling it a pay-per-view just for the sake of this conversation here, but for their special event coming up the night before Survivor Series, I'm already sold on it, and they haven't even got the whole card filled out, so I'm definitely sold on that. This entire show completely dedicated to the quarterfinals of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. I give it a win. What do you give it? And what do you give it at home? Do you give it a win, a loss, or a tie? So over here in the chat room, down here in the comment section, what do you give the show? Win, loss, tie? But what do you say?
I'm going to give it a win. Fuck it, I'll give it a win. I haven't given a show a win in a long time. So we went from a loss on Monday to a tie on Tuesday to a win on Wednesday. Let's fuck WWE on now. This is the last WWE show I have to watch. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. We are now finished for the week, and now I can relax and enjoy some fucking good professional wrestling for the rest of the week. Amen. Woo.
What is it about WWE? And, like, it's funny because it's like the shorter the show is, the more wrestling they have and the better quality it is.
It's because with Raw, like, you could have like an amazing match in the opener, and then you're still sat there thinking, "Oh, I still have 2.5 hours left." And that's so depressing. Whereas NXT, if you have a shit first match, you're like, "I don't care. It's like 2 more matches, then I'm finished. Done. Easy." You know?
Yeah, I just think it's funny. You know, as someone, you know, for me, you know, I'm someone who produces for a living, and I know when you have like longer shows versus shorter shows, you have to take a different approach to it. Like when I do like a noon show, which is roughly 30 minutes long, you know, I can spend more time on it. I can pull, you know, fresher stories. I can, you know, take a little bit more time writing, you know, and try to like craft this show just like a sculptor. You're just taking like clay and you're just trying to get away the bad stuff, you know, and just make it like this perfect work of art. Whereas I've done morning shows that are, you know, an hour, or actually the one that I do is like 2 hours long, where me it's more like broad brush strokes. You know, you've got to, you know, put larger chunks of things and you got to fill a lot more time, and you've got to, you know, you're not as meticulous with some stories on a longer show as you would be a shorter show. So I'm thinking maybe that's what the deal is with WWE. When you've only got an hour, and you know that you've only got 1 hour to, you know, to get people sold on a feud, to get people sold on a character, to get people sold to buy a ticket to their event, you know, you're going to take a little bit more care on this. Whereas if you've got 2 and 3 hours to fill every week, it's just, okay, let's just throw it up on the wall and see what sticks here. We've got so much we got to do, but we've only got so little time to do it. Maybe that's what
but you're missing an even bigger point.
Mm-hmm.
The even bigger point is Vince McMahon has nothing to do with NXT.
Yes, neither does
That's the
Stephanie
bigger point. Nothing to do with it. It's what makes it. It just doesn't feel like a WWE show. It feels like NXT because it just doesn't have any of the WWE bullshit on it.
All right, and this would be like if I was like a lawyer for why WWE should do shorter shows. They should have the McMahons keep their hands off of it. This show would be Exhibit 1. I mean, there were only 4 matches on this programming, and that's actually 2 less matches than what SmackDown had last night, and they had 6, and all but one of them were all under 5 minutes. I mean, one match was 7 seconds. And over on Raw, now correct me if I'm wrong, I think they only had maybe two matches just in the first hour.
Oh yeah, they just hop along trying to. I can picture Vince looking at the clock, shouting at everyone, "Hey, we've only got an hour left. We've only got an hour left."
So there you go. So if I was an attorney, this is what my case for NXT would just be my Exhibit A. Every match mattered. Every match, something was on the line. There was reasons to care. Storylines were advanced. And I like it. They start out with Charlie Caruso. She was hosting the entire show from the Performance Center. They go to everything was the second round. We'll just say the quarterfinals. Quarterfinals, the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic match. First, we have TM61 scheduled to take on Roderick Strong and Austin Aries. However, Austin Aries was not dressed to compete. There were some questions why. Then Austin Aries took off his sunglasses and said that he's not dressed to compete because the medical staff, the trainers will not let him wrestle because he's got a quote-unquote broken eye hole, so his orbital bone has been broken. For those of you who may not seen it, check it out. I saw it on Twitter. He took a knee right in the face from Nakamura during a house show. I think it was him and Samoa Joe versus Nakamura and Ty Dillinger. I may be incorrect on that one, but I know that if you watched, it's Nakamura got all of it. He got all that knee up in Aries' face and just busted the fuck out of him. Referee was immediately making the X. They were calling off the match. it was brutal. They showed some pictures backstage. It's like his eye. His eye was almost completely swollen shut. And I swear Nakamura moved his eye up a couple of inches. That's how hard he fucking hit him. It was brutal. This won't be this isn't as bad as first thought because they said right then and there he'll be able to fight next week. So
or sorry to cut you off here.
Okay.
Or is this that they taped a Austin Aries match at the tapings that they did at Full Sail a while back, and they're airing this? So this is them covering the rest.
Well, if he doesn't have a swollen fucking eye or bruising around his eye or no indication of injury, then yeah, I think you've got a case that's them covering their ass. Or maybe it's not as bad. Essentially he's got he's got a broken orbital bone, but it's swollen as hell. So, only thing you can really do in that case is pop some ibuprofen, ice it down, let the swelling go down, and take it from there. And even if his orbital bone's broken, I would just tell people, okay, get in the ring with him. If you're gonna wrestle, then just don't hit him, don't punch him directly in the face.
But I read yesterday or the day before that he'll be out till 2017 at least, the early stages of it. That's what I read.
Okay, I'm not doubting you. I'm just saying I just don't know who your source is. That's the first I've heard of it.
Oh, okay.
That's the first I've heard of it. But anyway, of course, the heels, Roddy and Aries were like, just go ahead and forfeit, save you the bears. We were going to beat you anyway. William Regal comes out and says, okay, I'll tell you what, this is all about, Dusty Rhodes was all about competition. So I'll tell you what, how about we do this? Roderick Strong, you'll represent your team against one of the members of TM61, and the winner of your respective team will advance in the tournament. Both teams agreed to it. So Roderick Strong wound up taking on Shane Thorne. And by the way, just interesting side note, apparently Shane Thorne must be a huge fan of anime. Because and this is me being colossally fucking nerdy. This is shit only Boom Boom would fucking notice. Now, I know I've commented on this before. On his abdomen, he's got a tattoo, this little etch, this little symbol. That is from an anime called Berserk, which I have. Actually, pretty good one. It was done circa 2003, 2004. Yeah, I think it was 2003, 2004, somewhere in that ballpark. You know, he has that one of the characters. He has that same marking on his neck, and and it's part of the storylines, like how he wound up getting that symbol, what it means. But I also noticed he also on his wrist, he's got a homunculus tattoo from Full Metal Alchemist on there, and maybe there's some more stuff on there I haven't seen. But that's two I've noticed. I was like, dude, that's not a coincidence. This guy's got to be an anime fan. Anyway, I just thought I'd throw it out there. The more you know, just more useless, trivial knowledge from Boom Boom. Anyway,
Correct.
So you have Shane Thorne representing TM61 taking on Roderick Strong, and I thought maybe they were going to do this where they could have the bad guys go over. They were going to give them some kind of out, but I particularly like that one that stomp when Thorne had Roderick Strong. Roderick Strong, first of all, went after Thorne's back because they're apparently going to go with the Messiah of the Backbreaker gimmick with him, which I love because they did that with him. I know part of the time when he was in TNA, but they also did that with him in Ring of Honor. So I'm glad that they're keeping the TM61. There was even a line in there. It's like, hey, Phillips, how many flavors of jelly beans are there? I don't know. Well, whatever it is, it's half as many backbreaker combinations as Roderick Strong knows. Just thought that was a good line. But Thorne had Roderick Strong hung upside down in the tree of woe and hit him like this double stomp. That fucking fantastic. I like the Falcon Arrow spot. Austin Aries tries to get involved. And I thought, okay, there's the out. They're about to have them lose, but Roddy kicks out. A little bit later on in the match, Roddy runs up and drop kicks Nick Miller at ringside. This gives Shane Thorne the opening. Rolls him up with an inside cradle. 1, 2, 3. Your winners. Your winner, Shane Thorne. Therefore, Team 6-1 is advancing to the semifinals on the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic Tournament. I think this was a great decision because, one, if Aries is hurt, and as your source is saying that he may be out to 2017, I think it's a good idea to go have TM61. And besides, the bad guys have nothing to gain by advancing. These two need to be pushed and need to be promoted as singles wrestlers. TM61, I had said a few weeks ago, they're dead. Especially when they struggled in the first round against Sabatelli and shit, I can't.
Moss.
Yeah,
Riddick Moss.
Riddick Moss. I don't think was it Moss?
I think so. It was the guy from Breaking Ground and some guy. I think it was Riddick Moss. If I could look, if you want me to.
Yeah, go ahead and look real quick. But I said, you know what? They're dead. They're not getting over. Some of their I saw some of their stuff in Japan, and I was like, this is what they're showing here on NXT is only a fraction of what this tag team can actually do. So this is actually something I think will help them get over because, again, they're a tag team. They're in a tag team tournament, and I think it's going to look bad for them to lose to a couple of single stars. And I think Roderick Strong, Austin Aries don't look bad in this defeat. They've got the out. They tried to cheat. They got caught. It backfired on them, so they kind of did themselves in. So they win. So Thorne wins the match for TM61, advances the tag team, and I don't think TM61 is going to win the whole thing, but I think it's a step in the right direction because I think TM61 doing well in this tournament will do well for their careers in WWE and get people to care. You get people to care about them. Now, sir, did you happen to find who the other person was? I knew it was Tino Sabatelli.
I could look it up on the internet, but I thought considering I have fucking 15,000 pages of notes everywhere. There's a letter I haven't opened. Hope I'm not in debt. It's got to be here somewhere. You just went nerdy. This is full nerdy. Like you're questioning in your brain right now. Have I ever touched a woman's vagina? NXT October the 12th. Glorious Billy Kay TM. Right, it was Riddick Moss. It was TM61 versus Tina. It was Riddick Moss.
Riddick Moss. Okay, I'm just making sure. All right. Then next we go. By the way, coming up next week, they're going to do a contract signing between Samoa Joe and Shinsuke Nakamura. Geez, I hope no shenanigans happens. That would just be shocking.
Oh, I hope not too. To be fair, the last Raw contract signing with the females, I thought that was pretty good, and there was no physicality. Mm-hmm. But they had Foley. And he was fucking amazing. Anyway, I didn't give my thoughts on the Thorne versus Strong. I really like that. I really did. If I told you anything to watch from this show, I'd recommend you to watch this match. It really was match of the night. If you went on the old style system, it would probably be like a 3-star. I really enjoyed it, and I liked the sidewalk slam on the top rope onto the top rope from Strong. That was really nice. And this is the first time I've actually sat back and thought, this guy has potential. I like Shane Thorne. I don't know about the other guy because I haven't seen him in singles, but if he wrestles like this regularly as a singles wrestler, why waste our time with TM61? I know they came over as a tag team and they were great in Japan, but if they're going to be this fucking great in NXT singles, just go from singles because he had a really good match with Strong there.
Oh, I agree. I think he had a great match, and I'm thinking a good showing could actually revive TM61, but I don't think they're going to win the whole thing, though.
Oh, no. They won't win the whole thing.
All right, next.
If they do, I was going to say if they do, then fuck me, they're going to have the best match of the whole fucking life to get over. Because even here, Austin Aries in the full cell, Austin Aries doesn't get a reaction. There is literally no reaction for Austin Aries, but here on this show, he got a monstrosity of a pop. He got a really big pop, which is evidence that the Full Sail University is pieces of shit, and I don't like the Full Sail audience. I hope and I wish NXT went on the road and toured more, and every single episode of NXT wasn't in the Full Sail, because then you'd actually be able to see if people are actually over or not. Because Austin Aries in San Jose is one fucking over motherfucker. In Full Sail University, there's crickets. There is legit crickets when he comes out. So, now, does Vince think, oh, Austin Aries is over, but when he's at Full Sail, he isn't over? Why? Like, oh, Aries needs more time. I don't like it. I wish they weren't in Full Sail ever again. I hate the Full Sail crowd. I hate
them. Speaking of that, we go back to Full Sail University. We're supposed to see another second-round match between DIY, that's Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa taking on the Revival, the NXT Tag Team Champions. DIY comes out first. The Revival comes out, but Scott Dawson's on crutches. He says he suffered a quote-unquote career-threatening knee injury. He pulled his ACL, sprained his MCL, tore his meniscus in half. It's just, it's horrible. And the doctor said, oh, you're not clear, so we're just going to have to pull out. And then they just, doctor told him to stay home, take some ibuprofen, and they'll be back here. So we're out, and they leave. And at first, I was disappointed because I kind of wanted to see this, but then again, we'd seen this match like 3 times before.
Dude, if you don't think, sorry to cut off there, but if you don't think that we're getting Dash and Dawson versus DIY at TakeOver Toronto, you're a moron. That was them saving that, and then when we get DIY. Either the Revival distract or somehow cost DIY the semi-finals, which means Authors of Pain can go over into the final, which will mean that Gargano and Ciampa won't look weak in defeat, and then they can face the Revival at TakeOver for the tag belts.
Yeah, at first I was kind of disappointed because as much as these two teams have fought each other this past year, they've never had a bad match. So I was kind of disappointed that I didn't get to see it again, but it made sense because here was the problem with, for one, putting the tag team champions in the tag team tournament. If they win, you just destroyed your chance to make new stars because Revival's already, they've already got a lot of heat on them as bad guys. So how are they going to get more heat on them? If you have them lose, well, your tag team champions just lost in a tag team tournament. So the guys who beat them, does that mean they get a tag team title shot? Just where do you go with it? And I think they kind of realized that. I kind of wish they hadn't put them in. They would have had them just blow off the tournament, whatever. We're the tag team champions. We're the best tag team. Who cares? But they put them in there, and I think once they got them past the first round, they kind of realized the pickle they were in, because it was either, okay, we have them win, and they have to win the whole tournament, which does nothing for anybody, or they lose, and then we just screw our tag team champions, because now these guys that we've worked so hard get beat in a tag team tournament, and now that you're just going to throw the whole tag team situation into chaos. So I think this was probably the most painless and easiest way to get this done. But do you think it was a smart move by NXT to do this?
I don't see an issue with it. Initially, I didn't have a problem with it, but what they did, I have no issue with the Revival, because they get some heel heat, which at the end of the day, I'm always a fan of. I don't know. I'm a bit torn. I see your point. I see your point and understand your point. It's just I thought that if this was their plan going in, that I thought they did a good job in protecting everyone involved.
Yeah, that's what it was. They were just protecting everybody, and who knows? Maybe that's good. Maybe that's going to happen. Maybe they'll get to the semifinals next week. The Revival will come out and screw over DIY, and then it's just going to be okay. It's on. They're going to go to Takeover, and this time the tag team titles will be on the line. Who knows? Let's see. Cedric Alexander gave an interview with Dasha Fuentes. Damn it, I like that name, Fuentes.
This was so bad. God, I love Cedric Alexander more than anyone else on the planet. But this is what happened. So the female, I don't know her name. I read some bird. She goes,
Dasha Fuentes. I like saying that. That's awesome.
Backstage interview. So this is her question. How has your experience been in NXT? What are you doing here, you whore? Couldn't Alexander have just gone out there and said, Almas on the mic?
To be fair, do you think that was really her question? Or do you think that was the line that was fed to her to ask? Because really what you're supposed to do in this is basically serve up the softball. So, I don't know if I'd really put all the pain on, all the heat on her for asking that, because, if that's what she's told to say, that's what she's going to say.
Yeah, well, I just don't see the need for these backstage whores. Like, they don't need them. Like, you have one. Like, WCW back in the day, as I'm just literally finished watching Nitro from January the 12th, 98 to review with Sammy tomorrow, we had Mean Gene for 2 hours. Every time. Just Mean Gene. But he was amazing. He had his own character. What's Renee's character? What's this bird? Say her name. You like saying her name. You can say her name again.
Dasha Fuentes.
Dasha Fuentes, the fucking whore bag. What's her character? What's her character? She has a cool name. That's probably not even a real name.
She's one of the new. Yeah, she's one of the new ones. The new backstage. I don't know what they're calling them, but basically commentators they're going to have. And if I was single, I would probably want a Spanish girlfriend. I don't know why I'm throwing that out there, but I'm not single, so I don't have to worry about that.
There's loads of people that are into that Latina kind of gimmick. The accent annoys me. I couldn't deal with that. Like, you like the accent, and it turned me off.
Yeah, to each his own, I guess. Let's see. Gargano and Ciampa said they're not surprised by it, and they're just going to be focused on winning the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. Then they're coming for the belts. Then next we have, this was actually something that I was impressed by here, is the Authors of Pain taking on No Way Jose and Rich Swann. This was, the video footage from this was taken from the house show they did in San Jose, California. I was actually kind of impressed. I think the Authors of Pain are finally settling in, and the reason I know that is they've already established them as a couple of badasses. Just a couple of big tough guys who just come in, beat you up, and go home. That's what they do. No Way Jose and Rich Swann, they actually got some offense in. a lot of offense in, and they tried to wear him down. I like the particular one, the crossbody to the outside. I think it was Rich Swann did that. Then the other one comes off the top rope, and big splash on the outside. There's some blind tags. I think it was Swann who got clocked on the outside, and the other one I think was Akam yanked him off the rope, yanked him off the apron, so he couldn't make the tag. Goes back in there. They hit the last chapter on No Way Jose. They get the win. We even saw Paul Ellering get involved with a little bit of a punch there, something that he's never done before. So I think Authors of Pain are starting to settle in. They're starting to feel them out a little bit. They wrestled a longer match. They actually had to sell for their opponents a little bit. They had to make a comeback. They had to cheat a little bit. You know what I think? I think Authors of Pain is NXT took what happened with the Ascension, and they lined it up, and they thought, okay, well, what went wrong with the Ascension? Now let's correct those mistakes, but let's add it to the Authors of Pain. Now, the Authors of Pain, you know, there's reasons why they do everything. And the reason I say all this is the Authors of Pain are going out there with Hall of Famer Paul Ellering. And believe me, NXT does not put you with Paul Ellering unless they've got some special plans for you.
That's true.
And,
very true. And
plus, they don't talk. Because that was one thing that kind of got the Ascension in trouble. Is when they started talking, it's like, dude, shut up! You're ruining it for me. It's like me trying to be a badass, I'm coming up and all hulking in, and I got these big sunglasses and everything, and I come at you with this thick Southern drawl. It's like, oh, okay, it's really not that big and threatening. Okay, so their characters do not speak English. The Authors of Pain actually speak English. I should know because I actually talked to both of them. The reason they have to have Paul Ellering out there is because they don't speak English. And then they got rid of, they don't have, any face paint. They don't have anything that could be kind of like a niche. For example, and I'm not just trying to pick on the Ascension, but when the Ascension has, the face paint, the Illuminati thing, it works at NXT. It works in Full Sail, but you put it out on the big stage out there on Raw, and it just flops. So I think they're saying, okay, well, let's just make this old school. They're kind of like the Legion of Doom, minus the face paint. They're going to go out there. They're going to beat you up. And I think this is all lessons they learned from dealing with, the Ascension, from dealing with tag teams like the Vaudevillains, for dealing with, singles acts like, Tyler Breeze, people like Adam Rose, stuff that worked on the small stage but failed on the big stage. I think they're taking a different approach now. They're taking stuff.
That is proof that the Full Sail fucks people's careers. That crowd fucks with people's careers, because if Vince watches NXT, he does.
No, it's not the crowd's fault.
It is the crowd's fault, because if the crowd... You stop. Right. So you're telling me, okay, in that Full Sail arena, the Ascension come out, the crowd pop, it's the Ascension. If Vince is looking at this, he watches maybe 1 week of NXT before Mania. He watches a marathon of NXT in his fucking $60 billion mansion. And he sat there and think, oh, that's a good pop. Okay, well, we'll try that on the main roster. That sounds like a good pop. But if he did that in other places, like San Jose, like England, like anywhere else, they toured, maybe fucking Virginia, wherever, there wouldn't have been that big pop for the Ascension in NXT. There wouldn't have been. If the Ascension came out right now in London, no one would have given a shit. Because it's the Ascension, we realize they don't care, but because it's the Full Sail, they're like, oh, we want to make the stars. Which means that the audience on Raw don't care about the Ascension. Just because a couple of idiots at the Full Sail University, remember that part, University, cheer for these guys, don't make them over. Austin Aries is over as fucking San Jose because he's an incredible talent, and if he went up to Raw on SmackDown, he would get cheered. However, on NXT in the Full Sail, they're dead, they're quiet. Do you know why? Because he's already a made man, and they don't like the fact that they didn't make him. I hate them. Awful. I want to punch every one of them, and they jump up and down like fucking twats. I don't like them. Not one bit.
So you're not a fan of them?
No.
Okay. Here's my defense of the Full Sail crowd. The Full Sail crowd does not say, okay, here, we want this person to come out and this is the gimmick that we want. No, WWE, the trainers, they come up with the gimmicks, they come up with the personas, and they put it out there. And they're just reacting to it.
Yes, but if it's bad, don't cheer. They cheer everything. Adam Rose comes out with party people. You know that's not going to work on the main roster, and no, that's not going to work on the main roster. But they cheer anyway. Do you know why? Because oh yeah, we're cheering you, Adam Rose. Oh yeah. Essentially the same. Lucha Dragons are exactly the same. That was a flop. Tyler Breeze, flop. You could go on and on of people that Full Sail University cheered. No one else in the world cheered. That's the issue. The Full Sail crowd.
Again, a lot of those gimmicks were created by NXT. It's not these people. I mean, for example, Adam Rose was originally
That's bad though. That's the thing is though. I don't give a shit who created it. They're bad. Therefore, the Full Sail crowd like it if it's bad. They still like it if it's bad. The thing is, if you did this NXT on the road and you did that gimmick that sucked, those people, the casual audience at the NXT shows, they're going to boo it. They're going to be silent. So then at the main roster, the people scouting NXT to move them up, they can see, oh, okay, they're not already over at the main stage yet. Whereas these fucking idiots at the Full Sail University cheering for Lucha Dragons, making a Lucha chant, that's not going to work anywhere else apart from in that Full fucking Sail University.
And also, here's another thing. Those gimmicks were handled properly in NXT, and then when it was brought up to the main roster, a lot of them just did. And when I say they, I mean like the creative team, the power, people who were writing, they didn't know how to handle it. They didn't know how to treat these gimmicks. They didn't get them. They didn't understand them. It was obvious, and then they just all flopped.
That's true. That's true. I won't disagree with that point. It's the Full Sail plus W creative team, two combustible elements clashing for a mega clusterfuck of wasted talent.
So I guess we can agree to disagree on this, but Authors of Pain get the win over No Way Jose and Rich Swann via the last chapter. Then there's like a little package that's hyping up Mickie James returning, which I thought was a nice touch. I actually kind of hope. Oh, here's another thing. I've actually heard that there's no, and again, this isn't spoilers. These are just rumors. One of the rumors I actually read this today was that they plan on keeping Asuka at NXT longer. They're not going to bring her up anytime soon because they want her to work with the women there. And I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know if that's a smart move or not.
But at least you don't have to worry about the creative team fucking them up.
True.
Fucking her up, sorry.
And I'm just saying, I mean, what does it say that you had to go that far out, to get somebody who remotely resembles a credible opponent for her? Because I know they I know they originally wanted Trish Stratus, but she was unavailable, so they got Mickie James. And I think this is just going to be a one-off. But maybe this could be something, that they do. Maybe they could wait and hold out and get that match with Trish Stratus. Or, I mean, hell, she's already signed there. Why not bring in Lita?
I mean, you could do. It's just if she wants to have, because she had a good last match with Mickie James at the 06 Survivor Series, 10 years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
It's like everyone wants Michaels and AJ Styles. I'm thinking Michaels will always go down in history as his last ever match with The Undertaker at Mania 26. Mm-hmm. That match was absolutely amazing. Like, sure, if that's me, okay, my last match was with Taker. It was phenomenal, and I don't want to risk it. Whereas if he goes out of AJ Styles, and I know the match would be amazing, but there's always that what if they could go out there and have a stinker. They could have a stinker. It does happen. Even the best make mistakes. They could have an absolute botch fest. It could be shit. It could be awful. So Lita had a decent match with Mickie James. I don't want to see that ruined. It was funny. I enjoyed it when Crime Time came out and sold her panties and shit. I thought it was really funny. I hope that's her last match. I don't want to see her. I hate it when people have career matches and then come back. It's just a pet peeve.
Okay, I mean, if you want to do that, or you could get, what's her? Molly Holly. That might be somebody that they may be interested in bringing. If we're going to go with
Victoria.
Yeah. Oh hell yeah.
You could do Victoria.
I want her to go full
That'd be
fucking. If we get Victoria, I want full fucking psycho Victoria.
She used to. What was the song she came out to? She used to have a cracking tune with the lesbians dancing.
Yeah, it was Tattoo. All the things she said.
Tattoo. Yeah, dude, I remember being like, I
By
think it
the
was
way,
like
actually,
what, 04? So I was 8 years old seeing that. I'm like, oh baby, shucky ducky quack quack.
Jesus Christ, you just made me feel old. I was in fucking college when that came out, and then I was kind of pissed off when I found out that like neither one of them were actually lesbians.
Oh, that's disappointing.
That's what I heard. I heard it was just like
you just broke my heart there. You just broke my heart.
And then when I heard it, I heard the song again, I was like, they're fucking faking this shit just to fucking get records. I mean, hell, it generated controversy, and it was like, it sold records for them, and it was like they're like, well, we're not really lesbians. We just kind of did that to kind of, like a persona.
Make you money.
Yeah, make some money.
Who cares? They made money. Good for them.
Let's see.
Probably. On the side note, they're probably both crackheads right now. Moving on.
Actually, look up where they're at. I don't know. I heard they were Russian, so I don't know. Maybe they're still big over there. I don't know. Next, we have T.J. Perkins and Kota Ibushi taking on Sanity. This is the tandem of Alexander Wolf and Sawyer Fulton. I don't know. This was a pretty decent main event. I think this was something that got changed, to be honest. Is you had Perkins and Ibushi. Now Perkins filling in for the injured Hideo Itami, Kota Ibushi, who's not going to sign with WWE. Kind of sucks, but I understand. I respect that. They go in there, obviously the favorites against Wolf and Fulton. Perkins tries to hit the knee bar early on, makes an attack to Ibushi. Ibushi cleans house. Eventually gets bogged down, makes the tag back into Perkins. Perkins sells like a motherfucker, man. He's getting just completely bear hugs, all kinds of rest holds, getting worn down by Wolf and Sawyer Fulton. They do get the save when when Perkins makes the hot tag into Kota Ibushi. Ibushi hits that devastating power bomb on Golden Star powerbomb on Alexander Wolf. Referee's distracted by Eric Young and Nikki Cross at ringside. T.J. Perkins has been taken out of the picture. Both Wolf and Fulton get in there, double team. Kota Ibushi hit that kind of different. I don't know what the hell. I don't think their finisher has a name yet, but that assisted suplex that they have, they get the win. Sanity advances in the tournament. I'm thinking, had it been Hideo Itami, had he not been hurt by that fucking rookie at the house show, I think both Itami and Ibushi would have advanced. But I think it was one of those things, it just blew up in their face. And I think this is something that they redid, and they just said, well, hell, we're trying to get Sanity over. Perkins was not our first choice. He's trying to get the Cruiserweight Championship back on Raw. He's really not. He's not even on the NXT roster technically. So let's just, we gain nothing by having them win. Kota Ibushi's not going to sign with WWE. Let's just end this now. And who knows? Maybe we can get Sanity over at the same time. I just don't know if I don't know if that was originally supposed to happen, but I think. I was kind of pissed off because I do like Ibushi and I do like Perkins. Oh, by the way, I got to tell the story about T.J. Perkins. I read this online. I think it was this past week. That Perkins, after his match, got cleaned up and he went out, not out by ringside, but in the little, I guess, hallways. In the arenas where you go buy your popcorn and your T-shirts, and he was out there shaking hands and everything. And he wound up taking a picture with this kid. And it turns out the kid was autistic. He had autism, and was pretty high up there on the autism scale. But the kid just completely was like, oh my god, freaked out, came to life, and they got a picture of them dabbing it together. And so the mom went out of her way trying to get in contact with T.J. Perkins, saying, "You just made my son's night. It's all he could talk about. And that's all he talked about at school. And it's just like, thank you very much." So. And that's something that he didn't have to do. I mean, he could have, taken his shower, got in the car, and went to the next town. But no, he took time. He took time to kind of go out there in the arena to meet people and sign autographs, and take pictures, and just a little bit, So I'm just saying, I want to point out when somebody does something right. So, mad props.
We don't do that here on this show, Booms. You know the rules. You know the rules, you little shit. That's
we have to be
that's
Debbie
strange.
Downers.
That's strange to me because I'm used to moaning and groaning about TJ Perkins being a fucking arrogant twat. He looks like such an arrogant twat out of the ring. He looks like he's going to be a complete douche. And hearing that makes me upset because now I'm wrong. That makes me very upset. TJ Perkins, good job. You're a good human being. Well done. I'm proud of you. This is where you see next week TJ Perkins mugs homeless man in a fucking Kmart.
No, and I like. Plus, I think somebody tried to start some shit by saying that Perkins was critical of the women's match going on last at Hell in a Cell, but it said he sent all this stuff out on Twitter, but nobody. I mean, they said, "Oh, but he deleted it," but I was like, but nobody produced a single screen capture of the so-called tweet. Nobody. I mean, trust me. I could put something on fucking Twitter for like 30 fucking seconds, delete it, and there's some asshole who's got some fucking who will have a fucking screen capture of it. Nobody was able to produce anything, and somebody asked him about it. He's like, I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. I haven't said anything. In fact, it's like I'm friends with Sasha Banks. It's like I told her a good match. It's like I don't know where the hell this shit's coming from.
It's just people stirring shit all the time, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just where it's been for the past year. Social media, always bad publicity.
It's one thing if you step in it and somebody points it out, but I can't stand people who start shit just for the sake of starting shit.
They're bored. They're bored and they're lonely. They have zero friends, so they're like, oh, okay, I'll do this. People think I'm well cool. Well, no, you're not. You're a fucking idiot. You're fucking with people's lives. Because if someone sees that and they're like, TJ, how dare you say like that? How dare you? Blah blah blah. It's not right. It's not fair. But these people don't think of the wrestlers sometimes. That's why I never ever tweet with the wrestlers tagged. I've done that once and I got blocked by Bull Dempsey. That's my career accomplishment. When I have my Wikipedia in 50 years, it's going to say career accomplishments, championships and achievements. Click blocked by Bull Dempsey. That's my claim to fame.
My only Twitter claim to fame as far as wrestling goes, let's see, I've had Kyle O'Reilly like one of my tweets, I've had Kyle O'Reilly respond to one of my tweets, and I had Sexy Star like one of my tweets.
I've had Taz like one of my tweets because I said something about Jada Hackton or something.
And I got blocked by Joey Styles.
Oh, I remember that. That was funny. So Taz liked, Sin Cara liked because he was on Main Event one week and I put a tweet out saying that it was actually a good match and he liked. He's like, oh my god, someone put a nice comment about me. I don't really know because I don't tweet at the wrestlers because I just think that they get enough shit from imbeciles. Like I couldn't imagine like an 18-year-old man saying, "Hey, great match out there," or asking questions like, "What do you think's next for your character?" There's some real cringy shit on Twitter. Like I might start doing a segment on Raw because I'm so bored. After every match, it's like the tweet of the match where I'll just look on Twitter during the match and just see something cringy and then name and shame. I think that could be quite fun. Get me through Raw quicker, maybe. Because there is some cringy shit out there on Twitter.
Okay, and that's pretty much, that does it for this episode of NXT. Well, but here's my question. They're already promoting to having the semifinals next week, and I'm thinking at least one of the semifinals matches. Do you think that's a big mistake? Because last year they did the semifinals and the finals on the pay-per-view. Do you think that's a big mistake by go ahead and having the semis? Now, I'm thinking probably the same thing you're thinking. They're probably doing something specifically to that way where DIY gets screwed out of like a victory and they wind up challenging the Revival. That's the only thing that I can think of. Right,
so you got your main event with Nakamura and Joe. You've got Asuka versus Mickie James, Ty Dillinger, Bobby Roode, final of the NXT Tag Classic, and then we'll add in the tag team title match. That's 5. That's enough for 2 hours. That's plenty. That's plenty for 2 hours. Easily fill 2 hours. Maybe add an Ember Moon match in. What's happening with that bird anyway? I haven't seen an Ember Moon in donks.
I don't. Well, I think it's because they do the tapings. Because I think she beat Mandy Rose like 3 weeks ago, I think.
I think she'll be a big star. That's my bold prediction. She'll be a massive star.
Let me ask you this:
No one saw it coming.
Do you want to go ahead and make a prediction now? Who you think is going to win the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic?
Authors of Pain. Like they'd be silly if they don't.
That's my pick too. I'm going to Authors of Pain. Because if you're not,
especially after that win.
Because I look at it this way: if you're not going to put the tag team championships on them right now, that's the next best thing you can do for them is give them the win at the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. And plus, there's another thing. I think if you put the belts on DIY, now you've got a clear path and a fresh feud for Authors of Pain to have a new feud and win the NXT Tag Team Championships.
And Revival then get a SmackDown.
Yep. God, dude. SmackDown needs all the fucking help they can get. I will say
their roster, because I do it. Dude, I'm not even joking, okay? Their roster's so thin, okay? So after Raw and after SmackDown. So I always bash the writing of the show. So for VIP, cheap plug, links on the screen in the description. I do LK books. So I booked Raw and I booked SmackDown. When I booked SmackDown last night after SmackDown aired, I went on to a website that has the full list of the SmackDown roster. Be no one. Like, no one. Once you got the tag teams in the mix, the women, male singles, you have no one. Literally, I was using Jack Swagger. That's how desperate I was for talent. I was using Jack Swagger. Like, dude, there's no one on the SmackDown roster. But SmackDown's better than Raw most weeks. Because I'm torn now. Because when WWE comes to London for the O2 in April, me and my friend that we normally go, we usually just go to watch Raw because SmackDown's irrelevant. Do we just go to watch SmackDown or do we just go to watch Raw? Do we do both this year? I don't know. Tough times, tough choices, and they need to be made soon so we can book tickets. Oh, tough. And fucking Ring of Honor as well. I got a message for Ring of Honor. What the fuck are you doing having your UK tour late November? Dude, are you a moron or something? It's fucking Christmas time. Why do you have tours in the UK then? Why can't you done it in September? Oh, dude, it really... Because I went to buy RH tickets, and I'm like, for fuck's sake, it's Christmas. Like, oh, because it's a train journey, which is about 50 quid a return. The tickets are like 30, and if you stay overnight, that's another 50 for the hotel. It's like 130 quid a day, plus your food, your drinks, just add another 40. 170 pounds for the day. That's fucking like 3 people's Christmas presents. Fuck you, Ring of Honor. Bastards. I really wanted to go as well. Thoroughly disappointed. Unbelievable. Live comments or any? Or not?
No, just generic stuff here. So nothing really worth tackling. So somebody's asking about, let's see, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa for the main roster.
Tag titles first. NXT tag titles first.
Dixie Carter obsolete. I don't care about the legal proceedings. I just really can't get excited. I cannot get into the whole TNA legal drama. We all know how this one's going to end.
Funny. It is funny. Like, the thing is, the Fight Network has basically pretty much a high ownership now in TNA. Billy Corgan is just going to leave this and just create his own wrestling promotion. There's no way he's not going to. Just fucking start it already. Call it Smashing Pumpkins Wrestling or some stupid thing like that. But he did it before, didn't he? Wasn't he with Paragon Pro?
No, he was with, it was this promotion. I think they ran primarily out of Illinois. Like, I was going to say Revolution Pro, but I know that's a British promotion. It was something.
Yes, that's nothing good.
Pro Wrestling Revolution. It was some kind of Pro Wrestling Resistance Pro. Resistance Pro, that's what it was.
Oh, that's the one. I've got Rob Conway in my mind for some really fucking weird reason. So Rob fucking Conway. What a joke. But anyway, go on. Do your shameless self-promotion, Booms. Off you go.
Shameless self-promotion.
Get right.
I want to tell everybody to check us out at KocoSports.com. That's KocoSports.com. It's your home for combat sports. It's where the world goes to kick ass. And most importantly, where it's okay to be a passionate fan. Also, be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. We're cranking out shows all the time. This handsome gentleman here has done a Hell in a Cell review, a Raw review, and a SmackDown review because some other stupid son of a bitch fell asleep and Couldn't do
Left me
a
high.
SmackDown review.
Dude, there was no. I reached out to you. I reached out to Sammy. I reached out to Wrestling. It's like, guys, I know I'm young, but my back can't hold all this carrying of the ship. My back can't. No, I'm only messing around. You guys will have.
Now you know how
You
I
guys will
felt
have
for
work and understand.
This is how I felt for the past 10 years with Dave Koco.
Unbelievable. But no, also my shameless self-promotion time, VIP. You think there's lots of content on the YouTube channel, triple the amount on the VIP. Triple. You can download it on the go, so you can listen when you're on the way to work, when you're at the gym, jogging, having a wank, preferably not over me, if so you're a dirty human being. But if you're willing to pay the price, I'll give you a deal. If you want and will admit that you are wanking over the show, I will allow you to, but you have to sign up with 3 accounts. That's the deal. That's a generous deal. I'm basically giving it to you. But no. And if you're like, I don't know if I want to sign up, but are you scamming me for my money? How about this? 1 week free trial. If you cancel within your 1 week, you do not get charged at all. Not 1 penny. That's an LK guarantee. And it's run by Podbean, which is a professional podcasting network, which means you won't be scammed of your money. And if you are, you go to Podbean. So don't worry about, is my credit card going to be fucked? It won't. It's 99 pence. That's 99 cents. And you're supporting your boy LK, making hopefully one day my dream of reality, being a full-time pro wrestling podcaster. So support me as I give you all this damn content. Fucking do it now. I love you all. Booms. Off we go into the sunset.
There we go. So this is Boom Boom here for LK, Sammy, and of course Dave Koco, saying the boom just went bang, and I am out.